Hello and welcome to Juice and Java, Syracuse University's only morning talk show. I'm Maddy Stessman here.
I'm Monique Iuster.
And I'm Caroline Strange.
And this show marks a lot of firsts for us, actually. It's the first show of the fall.
It's my first time hosting.
And it's our very first time all being together. I'm so glad you're back, Maddy, from your year away.
Thank you. Yep, first time in the studio, so we're all really excited to be here, and we have a great show today.
Mm-hmm. Today I'm talking with Courtney Jones, who's the new coordinator in the Office of Student Activities for Orange After Dark. So they kind of revamped the whole program. It's been around for a couple of years, but they're starting a whole new bunch of activities for people to go to.
Those are always a lot of fun. I'm excited to hear what they have in store.
Definitely.
I'm talking to the SA president today, and so I'm excited to learn more about the organization and kind of what they have planned for us this year and more about the president herself.
Yeah, so I'm talking to Charlotte Lillie, a junior, who has already written 2 books and is currently working on her 3rd. So I'll tell you a little bit about what the books are about and everything.
And we have a couple of new segments, How to Survive College and Roaming with Remy. I know today she talked to students about the new non-smoking, no tobacco policy on campus. So I'm excited to see what they have going on with that.
Yes, it's surprising. You know, some students don't know. I know I was familiar with the policy, but I don't know if you guys...
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Yeah,
I
so...
learned about it in RA training. They try to tell you everything.
Well, Remy can teach you a little bit more about it and see
Yeah.
what students think.
And we have another new segment coming. It's How to Survive College with Jordan and Lauren. So they're going to be teaching you a little bit about how to cook in a microwave today.
That's exciting. I've always wondered if they turn out as good as it looks online.
You've never honestly done it. I feel like this segment is kind of more geared towards freshmen, but I feel like I still have so much more to learn. So.
I barely know how to cook in a stove, so hopefully this will help me a little bit.
And I think in the future they've got some fashion trends that they're going to teach us about and just more stuff about this campus that we definitely could learn.
I'm excited. We're going to have a really great semester, and one of our Juice and Java reporters, Nicole Dementry, went around campus to ask students what their favorite meal at Ernie is. Take a look.
So for this week on Juice and Java, we all know that your favorite dining hall on campus is Ernie Davis Dining Hall. We wanted to find out, what's your favorite meal here?
Stir fry.
It would have to be the wing bar.
Definitely peanut butter, Nutella, and banana.
I'd have to say the fabulous fruit selection. It's important to get all your veggies, fruits all day, so that's mine.
And I would say the stir fry, it's out of this world.
A hot dog with ketchup on it, with pizza, pepperoni pizza, and a hamburger on the side.
Whether breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack, you can come here any time of day and get whatever you want to eat. And you know it's going to be good. So make sure you stop by Ernie Davis. For Juice and Java, I'm Nicole Dementry.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. I'm here with Aysha Seedat, the SA president. Aysha, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course.
So can you tell our viewers a little bit about what SA is?
So SA is our student government on campus for all undergrads at Syracuse and SUNY ESF as well. So basically we work on a bunch of pieces of legislation, working on initiatives that are meant to benefit the entire student body.
And so what are examples of, I know you were talking to me a little bit about buses that they run. What are some examples of things that are happening on campus that SA is responsible for that maybe we don't know you guys are, what's behind it, what's making it happen that we can thank you for?
Yeah, of course. So actually one thing that a lot of students don't know about is we are responsible for the free New York Times and USA Today issues that are all over campus that we fund for that. They're actually being heat lamps installed in the College Place bus stop right now. So I was told they'll be there before it starts getting really cold.
Good news for everyone.
And then we started a program last semester called Chat and Dine, which allowed students to have lunch with any faculty or staff for free at faculty, which was really exciting to help bridge that gap between students and in the classroom, that kind of thing as well.
Well, awesome. And so for other students that maybe want to get involved, like you are, how kind of did you start with SA and your process to become president, and how could other people maybe who are aspiring to be like you kind of get involved?
Well, it was actually a really last-minute decision, but I applied to sit on the cabinet of the president before me, and I ended up getting the position of Director of Student Life. So basically, I worked on a lot of things and services that are being offered right now. So I organized free shuttles to Wegmans and Target on the weekends for students.
Thank you.
No problem. Free shuttles to the farmers market, which will be active this semester just because the farmers market is active right now. And then buses to major cities on the East Coast, so New York City, Philly, Boston, and DC, and New Jersey for Thanksgiving break. So students can just pick up a bus right in front of Shine, and they don't have to go to RTC or the
Which
airport.
are so helpful. I know a lot of us are very, very grateful for that. And you said that you meet with Ken frequently, or you're going to be now as president. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's like? I know we get emails from him, but a lot of us don't really know what he's like and what it's like working with him.
He's actually a really great person. I mean, in the past, his history, he was the dean of 2 law schools. So his approach to things is very logical, and he's very analytical. So my meetings with him will be monthly, and we're just going to be talking about initiatives that I'm going to be working on and trying to get his perspective. Like, if I want to get the university's buy-in on something, you're the person to talk to.
Right.
Tell me how to approach this to make sure that we can get the most positive outcome from it.
And you mentioned he's teaching a class, right?
Yeah. He's teaching a class in the law school on negotiations. So there will be a couple undergrads, including myself, that will be taking it in October.
Awesome. And then you said within SA, there are boards that are organizing certain, like if there's a student life board, or what's kind of the breakdown of what's within SA?
So it's my cabinet, basically. So I have the president, my chief of staff, and then the rest of my cabinet. So we have a committee on student life, on academic affairs, on community engagement, and then PR. So these are just the committees that just disseminate a bunch of initiatives among our assembly as well.
And what's kind of your favorite part? Like what you're maybe most focused on, or what you want to bring to this campus as president?
So one initiative that we're working on right now is I'm actually in contact with the presidents of the student governments at Rochester, Albany, and Buffalo, and we'll be writing a resolution internally together saying that we support Uber and Lyft to be active in upstate New York. Right now, the New York State insurance law prohibits Uber and Lyft from being active in upstate New York, but New York City somehow found a loophole around it. So there's a piece of legislation going up to vote in January trying to lift this ban. So hopefully as student governments, we might have some sort of influence over it. So we're trying to get that passed.
No, that would be awesome. Has this position kind of influenced maybe what you want to do later on in life? Or
I mean, working in this position is actually brought up the idea of potentially working in higher education, like as an administrator, so that's been kind of interesting.
Well, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us today. And coming up next, Remy Bennett is taking us along on her new segment, Roaming with Remy. Today, she's talking to students about the new ban on tobacco on campus.
Hi, I'm Remington Bennett for Juice and Java, and right now you're roaming around with Remy. And if you haven't heard by now, Syracuse University issued a no smoking policy on campus, which means absolutely no tobacco anywhere on campus. So we asked students what they think about the policy and if people are actually following it. Are you familiar with the no smoking policy on campus?
Yes, I am. I got a few emails. I've seen a few signs outside of dorm rooms, so yeah, I've seen it around.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, there's no smoking allowed on campus or any tobacco products.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about it through like campus publications and just like general email blasts and like newsletters.
I am aware of the new policy because I'm an RA, so you have to enforce that in the freshman living quarters and everything, make sure they know the policies and everything.
Do you appreciate that there's now no tobacco on campus whatsoever?
Truthfully, I do, just because, walking to campus sometimes and you get a cloud of smoke in your face when you're trying to pass the library isn't necessarily something that you want at 8:30 a.m. when you're going to class. And I think that it just kind of speaks to, SU wanting to promote a healthy lifestyle for a lot of people on campus. And I just think it's, with other regulations going on with the tobacco industry, I just think it's a good step forward for campus.
I enjoy it because I don't smoke and I don't want to be smelling the smoke because I don't know what it might do to my body, That secondhand smoke could be very dangerous, so I'm glad it's not longer on campus.
I think the policy is ridiculous. I think that it has like good backing. It comes from a good place. Obviously, tobacco is not something that I personally smoke, and I don't think people should smoke. But like, you really can't enforce that in any way. College students aren't going to stop some kid on the side of the street saying like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You know, you're going to get cancer. Like, hey, you shouldn't do that. That's against school policy. So I don't think it's something that is really necessary on a college campus.
It doesn't bother me, honestly. Like, I didn't smoke before, I don't smoke now. Like, people can do whatever they want to do.
Have you seen anybody smoking even though there's this policy on campus now?
Actually, I was just sitting on one of the park benches right over here watching you guys film, and I saw people going by on skateboards smoking and people smoking on benches next to me. So I've seen a decent amount of it still, unfortunately. I don't think the policy is being held up as well as it should be.
I have actually, and I'm also curious as to how they're going to like monitor that and how they're going to enforce the non-smoking thing on campus, because I have seen some students smoking and I'm just like, is it just like a disregard, or are they just going to live their lives how they choose? So, yeah.
I actually haven't, surprisingly. My freshman year, I used to see people like smoking outside of the dorms, but since I don't live in a dorm anymore, I don't really see it that often.
I mean, I've seen a couple, not a lot. Probably like right at the outskirts between Krause and like upstate, a little right there. But I mean, I guess that's technically off campus, so can't really do anything about that.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know. Come alive with the forest. The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. I'm sitting here with Charlotte Lillie, the author of Pretty Weapon and The Alpha's Poison. So, Charlotte, will you please just tell us a little bit about what your books are about?
Yeah, of course. So these books are designed for young adults. They're action-adventure novels centered around a group of superpowered teenagers. And so although it has themes of, the fantastical world and sci-fi, it really is about, friendship and finding yourself.
Yeah, and a little bit of romance.
A little bit of romance, yes, exactly. Not as much as, like the Twilight books, or like the ones that are really mainstream right now, but, enough to keep like the people going through their teenage angst nice and happy. So.
Perfect. So were these books inspired by any events in your life?
Definitely. I've always been somebody, avid book lover, big superhero nerd. These books in particular are probably inspired, just like growing up and making the transition from middle school to high school, which is primarily when I wrote the bulk of the first one at least. Writing has always played, a big role in my life, writing short stories for a long time, but these were actually the first books that I ever, sat down and finished, and so for me it was really a personal milestone to, put your heart and soul in something and then have it come out and have it, get bundled up and put a cover on it.
Yeah, so this is part of a series, right?
Yes.
There's 2 already written, and you are currently working on a 3rd?
That is correct. So the 3rd is called The Lost Summer, and although it's still, early in development, I'm hoping to have the first draft done sometime around winter break.
Great. So is there going to be any book signings or anything around then?
I hope so. Usually when I'm home, I'll stop off at the local elementary school or middle school and talk about creative writing and try and teach kids that it's fun to read and things like that. So hopefully on the horizon.
Yeah, that's great. So what about the characters? Were they inspired by people in your life?
Not specifically. Probably more combinations of people that you see in TV or other books. The main character I did model after my older cousin, if I'm being perfectly honest, just because, when you're little, you always look up to older people in your life, and she seemed to have her life together.
So it's a trilogy right now. Is it going to continue into a full series? Is there a big future for the characters?
I would hope so. The idea has always been, having this be a trilogy centered on 3 main characters, and then hopefully writing a series that branches off in the same universe, but with different characters and different stories within it. Again, as a TRF major, I think it'd be silly not to have a dream about turning it one day into a movie or a
Right.
television show. I'm actually currently in a writing for video games class right now, and just kind of seeing video games as a medium is also like something I'm now considering, just because it's, you know, more immersive and it allows for the kind of interactive story that I think these books kind of have inherently.
So being a television, radio, and film major, you think you want to try and make the books into a movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so have you had any strange run-ins with fans since writing the book?
Oh my God. Okay, so there'll be, you know, normal run-ins, like you know, getting bagels at like this local place back home, and I'll meet, you know, like a little girl who's like 8 or 10, and she's read them and loves them, and like expects me to have some like wise, you know, anything to say, and I really come up short. But then there was also one time my younger brother kind of pimped me out because this girl that he was dating had read the books and loved them, and he really wanted to ask her on a date. So I ended up like third wheeling, if that makes sense, because he was like, oh, come, like you can talk to this, like you can talk to her, you can ask her any questions. And then I just like sat there on their date the whole time, and I think she talked to me more than she talked to him.
Oh, did he get a second date?
He did.
Oh, that's good.
He's a charmer. It worked out well.
That's good. So if fans want to get a hold of this copy of this book, how would they go about doing that?
The best way is to go to my website, but they are available on Amazon, through Barnes & Noble, and the first book is available as an ebook for Kindle.
Great. So what about if a fan wants to keep in contact with you? Do you have a website, a Twitter?
Yeah, I'm pretty prominent on social media right now. Probably the most up-to-date page would be my Facebook page, but I do also have an Instagram and a Twitter for followers.
Great. Well, that sounds awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Coming up next, Juice and Java's own Jamie Weiss found out a little bit more about Holla for Hunger.
Every 2 weeks, members of the Syracuse chapter of Holla for Hunger gather right here at Hillel. Over the course of 2 days, they bake a difference, one holla at a time. Influenced by her sister, the Syracuse Holla for Hunger chapter president, Rebecca Leon, sat down with me to discuss what the organization is.
Holla for Hunger is an international organization now that they have chapters in the UK and in all of Europe. We are a nonprofit organization that helps fight hunger with Holla. We have our little catchphrase that's like hashtag Bake a Difference instead of Make a Difference. What we do here at Syracuse is we bake and we sell Holla, and we donate every single dollar, all the proceeds, to Mazone, which is a national response for hunger, and the JCC right here in Syracuse.
Holla is a sweet egg bread baked, then eaten on Shabbat, the day of rest in Jewish cultures. Leon stressed that members of Holla for Hunger do not have to be Jewish or a student in order to give back to the Syracuse community.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to pair up with different organizations that are outside of the school and maybe bring them to the Hillel, and they can have either their teens or their kids or however old they are come bake with us to see what we're all about, in hopes that they can promote challah baking as well with their organization.
Members don't need to bring anything besides a good attitude, a love for community service, and a free evening or two. The process of baking the challah is quite simple. Just gather flour, sugar, oil, eggs, and yeast. Then mix them together to make the dough.
The dough takes around an hour to make from start to finish, and then we leave them in the fridge overnight. We split it up into 2 shifts. So the first one is braiding the challah, which is everyone's favorite part because you get to put all the flavoring in, you get to roll them up. They look really, really good. And this week we're doing plain cinnamon sugar and our very anticipated flavor of the week, cinnamon bun challah. Just like the regular cinnamon bun, we're gonna try some icing on top too, and we're just really excited. And then they get all baked and people pick them up on Friday.
The challahs come in 3 different flavors and can be purchased online or at Hillel. Reporting for Juice and Java, I'm Jamie Weiss with Monique Iuster.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. I'm sitting down with Courtney Jones, who's the Assistant Director within the Office of Student Activities. Now, I know Orange After Dark has been around for a couple of years now, but can you talk a little bit about what's coming new this semester?
Yeah, so we have a lot of new events this semester. Specifically, we have expanded Orange After Dark programming to include on-campus events. That's new for us this semester, something that we anticipate continuing in the spring semester and years to come as well.
And what are some of the specifics? I know there's lots of cool things to do on campus, but what are some of the things specifically that they can look forward to?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot of programming with recreation services and in the gyms. So I know an event people have been looking forward to is bubble soccer. It's like these inflatable bubbles that people can wear and play indoor soccer, which seems interesting to me and I think exciting for a lot of people. I know we've been using a lot of resident advisors as volunteers at our events, and they've been telling me that a lot of their floors and their residents are looking forward to that event in particular. We also have familiar favorites like the pancake breakfast on campus. We just held a murder mystery dinner a couple weeks ago in the Shine Underground that sold out, that everyone really loved who attended that. So lots to look forward to.
And I know it's kind of moved over, it had been in the Office of Student Activities before, but had moved over from Residence Life. Can you talk a little bit about how that transition was, and was it an easy one? How did your budget expand?
Yeah, so previously the way Orange After Dark was run was by committee, and that committee was chaired by Dave Sargalski, who's the Director of Student Activities, and Robin Berkowitz-Smith, who's an Associate Director in the Office of Residence Life. This year, it has a kind of permanent home within the Office of Student Activities, and I am the coordinator for all of the OAD programming now. That transition actually was really smooth, and it just took a lot of communication. Luckily, we have some really great partners all across the division, especially within Residence Life. And anytime I have questions on maybe some events, I used to run events for the last several years, but there was a lot of events that I hadn't run before. So anytime I have questions, reaching out to them has been really easy. They've been really supportive. Like I mentioned earlier, we are still using their staff, whether it's resident advisors or maybe resident directors, to help with the different activities. So it's been really great.
And you mentioned some volunteers are through the Offices of Residence Life. Are there any other ways that people can get involved with Orange After Dark?
That's something that we're looking to expand upon, really. Yeah, we have some design and social media interns that we're currently hiring, and we also are using we have some students who will be working with us from one of the Falk College classes. But definitely looking for other ways to expand our student involvement. We are looking into ways to use students and student organizations, potentially as co-sponsors in the future of different events. But with kind of the explosion and expansion of our programming this semester and this year, we're kind of trying to get that shored up before we go too fast and too far with it, but definitely always looking for ways to include students in the programming and the execution of the programming.
And I know The Hunger Games is the big movie premiere this semester.
Yes.
Do we know yet what next semester is going to be?
You know, it's so funny you asked that. Typically our big spring movie has been the Divergent series of movies, but unfortunately the way spring break falls this year, it will be premiering during spring break, so it's got me stumped. So if anyone has suggestions, you can email us at oad@syr.edu. I'd love to hear what people think will be the next big spring blockbuster that we can go do a premiere event with.
Well, I'm excited that you're asking for suggestions, and thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Coming up next on Juice and Java, Lauren and Jordan are going to be showing you how to survive college with some microwave recipes. Take a look.
Welcome back. We had such a great show today. We really hope you liked it. Thank you so much for tuning in.
It was so much fun talking to Courtney Jones and learning more about Orange After Dark. You know, each of the events is only $3, and they're trying to introduce a lot of interesting things, including broom ball, if you want to check that out.
Yeah, $3. I'd say all those events are worth it. And I had a great time talking to Aysha, Seedat, our SA president. I learned so much more about the organization that I didn't know, and they have a lot of great things coming up. And actually, if anyone wants to learn more about what SA is doing throughout the semester, SA Today is a program we have here at Citrus every Tuesday. So if anyone wants to learn more, it's a great way to keep up to date with what they're doing over there.
And I had such a great time talking to Charlotte Lillie and learning what her new books are about. I also had a great time hearing what everybody's favorite Ernie meals are. I know I have trouble figuring out what I want when I go in there, so it was nice to hear some options.
I love Ernie. I know some people are big Ernie haters, but like, I will go in there all the time. I'll stay there for 3 hours. You run into everyone that you know. They have everything you could possibly want to eat. Like, I don't know. I do not understand why people are not
some
fans.
things you don't want to eat.
Yeah,
I know,
that is true.
Sometimes I feel like I have to kind of come up with my own meals. You know, I'll put the chicken wings and rice or something, and I love having the salad bar, though, because the fruit's always fresh there.
Well, and as people are saying, like, you can put anything you want in your wrap. You know, there's a lot of freedom to make some fun meals. And I know you're not good at cooking, so it's something helpful to go.
Yeah, it's super nice to be able to go there if I really need to get a meal quickly.
Or even taking fruit back to make a smoothie. I know I feel like I do that all the time.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. For more exclusive content, be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We put out exclusive behind-the-scenes footage you can only check out there. And like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and give us that double tap for a heart on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I'm Caroline Strange.
I'm Maddy Stessman.
And I'm Monique Iuster.
Have a great rest of your day.